Okay, glad everyone is here tonight, and it gives me great pleasure at this time to introduce the president of Pearl River Community College, Dr. William Lewis, to come and share his comments. Dr. Lewis?
Thank you, Ernie, and thanks to all of you for being here tonight. You know, this event, and we have a lot of events at the college each and every year, but this event has turned into one of the real special nights of our school year. And for all of you to come and gather and help us honor these special graduates that have gone on and done such great things in their lives and in the lives of other people, for that matter, is a real honor for us. And we appreciate the fact, and I know some of you, as I look out over the crowd and visited with you before the event started, I know some of you made a real special effort to be here tonight and traveled a long way, and we're very grateful for that. I won't be long tonight, but I wanted to kind of step back with you for a second or two and tell you why we do this, and kind of walk you back a little bit with the history of this event and how we got started and why we do this, because I want you to realize that it's the number one thing is to recognize our inductees, our new Hall of Famers, but there are some other underlying reasons, and I want to go over those to you because I want you to understand what this is all about, because it's really bigger than this one event. It really transcends deeply into our college and the daily life of our college. But several years ago, in fact, one of our Hall of Fame members who had a very distinguished career and has helped us a great deal at our college, came to me and he said, I'm involved with my university, and which was an out-of-state university, and he said, every year we have a gathering like this that he described, and he said, you can't imagine the remarkable things that event, and it had been going on 20 or 30 years, and he said that you can't imagine the remarkable things that are happening at the university because of that one special event. And he said, I want to encourage you to consider something like this. And so the more we thought about it, and the more Ernie, Lovell, and I talked about it, the more it seemed like a real natural kind of thing to do. We do a lot to try to honor our graduates, a lot of different kinds of events at homecoming and things like that. But we didn't have a particular lifetime achievement recognition event. And when we stopped and started talking about all the people that were possibilities, for induction into this Hall of Fame, we realized what a great thing this would be for our college, and what a great opportunity it would be to say congratulations to some very special people for what they've accomplished in their lives. And so we were able to get this event off the ground some 5 years ago. It's grown a little bit each and every year, and we've got a great crowd here tonight, and we're very grateful for that. But, and we're going to recognize these 5 individuals in just a moment and tell you a little bit about their life's experiences and what they've accomplished. But I want you to realize this, and this is where it goes deeper than the recognition that we're going to give to these individuals tonight. What we wanted ultimately was for these people to be role models for our students. What we wanted to be able to say to students at Pearl River Community College is, if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to sacrifice and do the right kinds of things in life, here are the kinds of things that you can achieve. You can achieve them not only here locally, but you can achieve on a big stage, wherever that might be. And so we have taken that concept, and particularly with our honor students, we try to relate to those honor students by having our inductees come back. They do interviews that we place on videos. We now have a video library that our honor students that, you know, if you want to be an engineer, you want to be a lawyer, you can come access one of those videos and you can hear a person who was a Pearl River graduate who walked in the same footsteps that you're walking. Those students can listen to some real keen advice about what it took to become successful in life on a real big stage. And we ask our inductees, just as we did this morning, to come back and visit with our honor students, to spend time with them. We had a reception this morning. We let each one of our former inductees have a few minutes that were there to have a few minutes to talk to the group, to give advice, to tell them a little bit about their careers, to try to inspire them. And I told all those inductees as they left today, you can't imagine what spending that 1 hour of time with these very special students might mean to them as we go forward. So we're trying to plant the seeds of success for some very special students that we have at our college. Next reason is that it was very selfish on our part, and I'll be honest with you, because we wanted to pair this event and the recognition of these individuals with our honors program and where we wanted to go with the honors program, because we knew that if we could establish that honors program and get it going, it would bring some very special students to us that otherwise we might not attract to our institution. And under the guidance of Dr. Stephen Black on the Poplarville campus and Dr. Ruckel on the Forest County campus, that program is just exploding, and we're getting some really unique kinds of students. I want to give you an example of the difference it's making in the kinds of students that we're able to attract because of it, and some of the opportunities that are presented. And this is just one example. As was mentioned a few minutes ago, we have a number of our honor students are in Washington tonight. The National International Phi Theta Kappa Convention is going on. We have groups from both of our campuses that are there, but the kinds of awards that they have started to receive, and this is just one example. There's a very prestigious national award called the Jack Kent Cook Scholarship. And somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 students nationwide apply for the Jack Kent Cook Scholarship each year. Until year before last, there had never been a Mississippi student to receive the Jack Kent Cook Scholarship. And we were fortunate enough with one of our students from our Forest County campus to be selected as a Jack Kent Cook Scholar. Now, what did that mean? Well, for this young man, it meant an opportunity for him to go on and pursue his higher education at a very prestigious institution, and he got to choose that institution where he wanted to go, and he chose Columbia University to continue his education. But it meant financial freedom for him to be able to attend that prestigious university. He received $120,000 for the next 2 years to continue his education. Now, remember, first Mississippian to ever receive that national award. This year, and the final decisions on this year has not been made, but this year, Pearl River Community College has got 3 of the national semifinalists and that have opportunities to possibly be selected for that prestigious award. And so we've seen little things like that that are growing each and every year that are making a difference. And that's the reason that, you know, to our sponsors, I want to thank you, because coming here tonight and purchasing a table and spending your money with us, and those of you that bought individual tickets, that contribution is helping to build those kinds of levels of success for our students. And hopefully it's going to make a difference as these people, and I told our Hall of Famers that were with us this morning, I told them that, you know, sometimes this generation of students is maligned, and sometimes we hear about things that possibly they aren't as good as the last generation in terms of work ethic and these kinds of things. But I'm here to tell you, because I'm with them each and every day, and I'm here to tell you that these are some of the brightest, most hardworking, dedicated young people that you will ever see. And they have a bright, bright future in front of them. And I feel like our country and we're all going through this presidential thing right now. And I don't know about you, but I'm ready to turn that TV off every night instead of listening to all that. But, you know, we need great leaders. And that's one of the things that this effort is helping to do, and what you're helping to do with your attendance here tonight. So we want to thank you. And I want to say this to you, because many of you have been part of seeing the evolution of the community college system in this state. One of our inductees tonight, Mr. Fred Henley, has seen certainly the evolution of our college for many, many years. And one of the things that I hope that you're proud of, and that Mississippi ought to really be proud of, is our community college system. There was a recent national survey, one of these large national internet surveys, that just recognized the Mississippi community college system as the #1 community college system in the entire country. Now, we don't have a lot sometimes to brag about in Mississippi, but I want to tell you that your tax dollars and your support of your community colleges is making a difference in the lives of a lot of people. And we're very grateful for your support. We're grateful for the support that you give to Pearl River Community College and to our great state. So, having said that, let me thank you for being here. Let me personally congratulate each of our inductees tonight, and thank you for coming and helping us celebrate this event tonight. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. It now gives me great pleasure to recognize our presenter for this evening's awards. Dr. Jennifer Seals serves as the Vice President of Planning and Research at Pearl River Community College. And if you would at this time welcome Dr. Seals to come and make our presentations.
Thank you, Mr. Lovell, and thank you, Dr. Lewis, and good evening to everyone. It is a great honor and pleasure that I introduce to you the 2016 class inductees into the Pearl River Community College Lifetime Achievement Hall of Fame. These individuals serve as examples of excellence within the Pearl River Community College family. And with induction into this Hall of Fame, their lifetime accomplishments and achievements will become part of the deep history of the Pearl River tradition. Their lives will be celebrated for generations to come, and their legacy will live forever at our beloved institution. Our first inductee tonight is Mr. Lucien Bourgeois, originally from Bay St. Louis. During his time at Pearl River, he served as sophomore class president, was elected as sophomore class favorite, and graduated in 1967. He went on to attend the University of Mississippi, where he received his Bachelor's of Science and Master of Urban and Regional Planning degrees. His professional career began as a regional planner for the Northeast Mississippi Planning and Development District. He then worked as a program planner for the governor's office and next for the Mississippi Department of Economic Development before entering the Mississippi College School of Law, where he graduated in 1980 with his Juris Doctorate. After being admitted to the Mississippi Bar, Mr. Bourgeois worked as an attorney for the Mississippi Department of Economic Development. He entered private practice in 1980 with Crossway attorney specializing in public finance and economic development, and joined the Butler Snow Law Firm as a partner in 1998. Mr. Bourgeois' work has received national recognition by the publications of The Best Lawyers in America and Mid-South Super Lawyers. In 2011, he was recognized as Lawyer of the Year from the Mississippi College School of Law. Mr. Bourgeois is an active community member and volunteer, and some of his accomplishments include serving as president of the Metro Jackson Habitat, president of the Rankin County Unit of the American Cancer Society, and as a trustee of Crossgates United Methodist Church in Brandon, Mississippi. Mr. Bourgeois and his wife Connie have a daughter and 2 grandchildren and reside in Madison, Mississippi. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Lucien Bourgeois.
Hello, my name is Reagan Norwood. I'm here with Mr. Lucien Bourgeois for his recognition in the Lifetime Achievement Hall of Fame. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Ray.
Wonderful, wonderful. Can you share with me a little bit about your time as a student at Pearl River Community College, why you chose to come here for your education, and what influence it had on helping establish your career path?
Well, I chose to come here because I'm from a small town close to here, by St. Louis. A lot of my friends were going to school here. It offered me an affordable way to start my college career, and I had a lot of friends. And so that's really the main guiding force. My college roommate and I did not go to high school together. He was at the Catholic school, I was at the public school, but we worked together in a grocery store, so I had a roommate and had a lot of friends from both by St. Louis and that came here, so that's the main reason I chose it. And another thing, it's close to home. I could go home on weekends without a problem. Still enjoyed being with family and the things that went on in Bay St. Louis as a college student. So that was the main reason I came here. A career path, you know, at the time I came, I thought I wanted to be a doctor. That didn't work out, but look, the courses were here. The fantastic thing about PRC is I had an awful lot of interplay with my teachers, my professors, that I found out later, moving on to a larger university, that you don't always have that. And it was great having that ability to have one-on-one with your teachers a lot more than you do when you're in classes of several hundred, when they may be 30 or 40 in a class. And you had issues that you wanted to discuss with your professor, they did it. They just took time for it and had time for you.
Yes, sir, I completely agree. Would you share with me how you determined your career path and where it took you throughout the years?
Well, of course, as I just said, I started off in pre-med, took a lot of biology and chemistry courses and all the other required things in liberal arts. So I continued that on throughout getting my undergraduate degree. But I changed it at the end of that career. I said, no, medical school is not what I want. And probably I just didn't have the opportunity to really see where my interests lied. And as things turned out, I received a master's degree, both a bachelor's and a master's from University of Mississippi, and I got into something called urban and regional planning. But really the foothold started right here at Pearl River. And my career path later changed. Went to work right out of school, went to a place called Northeast Mississippi Planning and Development District in Boonville, which it was on the campus of another community college, Northeast Mississippi Community College. So my office was on a college campus when we first started. And my wife and I were married. We moved to a strange place, met a lot of people, but still home came back. And being on campus for my first job with another community college, made a lot of friends there, you know, both on the staff and faculty as well as people in Northeast Mississippi. So, but I couldn't have started it without the basics that I got right here at PRC and the relationships that you make with people. You know, it started coming out of high school, you got friends, yes, but I made other friends here and made friends with faculty members, you know, that became, and I've had lifelong, because my wife's from Poplarville. We came back here a lot as long as her parents were living and went to church here. So I still continue relationships with some of the people who taught me going to church and seeing them in town and going to Rotary Club here on campus at PRC. So,
What do you feel are the things that are important in achieving success in one's career?
well, first, find what you love doing. You need to have a passion for a career, not just a job. And having that and be the best you can be at it. You know, that's the things that I think are important. Use your educational background, the things that got you where you are, but then find something to do that you're passionate about. I'm very passionate about the work that I do. I'm a lawyer, and I worked a lot with local governments throughout the state of Mississippi, from the coast to the Tennessee line. Work with all the community colleges. I'm a public finance lawyer, which helps finance new buildings, new infrastructure for cities, counties, school districts, and community colleges. Been involved here with PRC with doing some bond issues to help them with new dorms and other things. New buildings on this campus, new buildings in Hattiesburg, and have worked with other community colleges in this state, and the one junior college, Jones. So, but be passionate about and love what you want to do. And then you will be good at it. If you're passionate about your work and love it, you'll be the best that you can be.
Well, that is some fantastic advice. What are your thoughts about the two-year community college system and the roles that schools such as Pearl River can play in setting you on a career path?
I think for the state of Mississippi, we're blessed that we've got a system of community colleges. They're filling a need that wouldn't otherwise be met, both for academic, people wanting to get a college degree, and those in training for technical and vocational education type things. They're the community college system. Of course, I love this college. I spent my 2 years here, but without them, I think the state of Mississippi would be a lot worse off than what it is, because it provides opportunities for people to get both either follow an academic route or follow a technical or educational route. And it's providing a lot of people with job opportunities that may not ever otherwise have them. And you got to look at this campus. There's all kind of technical training going on here and in Hattiesburg, and the nursing program is filling a big void, like most of our community colleges are doing. So, but it will help somebody get off to a start, and they can move. You know, if you get an associate's degree in nursing, for example, many of them end up going after a BS in it, and even a master's degree in nursing. So they may have intended to go 2 years, get that nursing degree, but move on after they get into that field.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Bourgeois. Thank you for coming back here to Pearl River, and congratulations again on your award.
Well, thank you so much. Enjoyed being with you.
Dr. Lewis and Dr. Seal, you know, it's truly an honor for me to be here tonight. Pearl River is a place that's special to my heart. Ole Miss is a special place, but not like the first 2 years of my college. I met my love of my life, my wife Connie, there 48 or 49 years ago. And it's a special place that brought me here. I see Buddy Moody back there in the back of the room, who was actually born the same day my wife was born. So, so we share a long time benefit there. But ultimately, you know, Pearl River is a special place, as you see in the written material before you. We were close together, small classes, and that's what's important, is having the opportunity to spend a lot of time with your teachers. And I don't know if that's still true today or not, Dr. Lewis, but ultimately, when we were there, our professors had a lot of time to work with us on whatever topic that we were studying at the time. But it is a special place in my heart, my wife's heart. It's a special place for a lot of you in this room today. One of my high school teachers is on the board of trustees from Bay St. Louis, Frank Ladner, you know, so the other people honored tonight, I'm privileged to be up here amongst them. You know, and I thought about this little talk tonight. One of the things that I thought about, how many times do we go through life making decisions? We all make some good decisions, we all make some bad decisions. But the 5 people honored tonight made one good decision in their life. That's to go to PRC, you know. But Also, the purpose of this thing tonight, these young people that have very bright, got a bright future in front of them, give them the opportunity to carry on and do the things that Dr. Lewis talked about earlier. Mississippi is a special place to all of us, or we wouldn't be here. These young people can make it even more special. I urge them to go do their thing, get the best that they can get out of life, but bring it back to your home state. We need you. We need you to grow this state, and so we can all prosper together. And so, again, I really am honored. I'm overwhelmed by the honor that I have. I don't deserve to be on this stage, but I certainly welcome it. And from the bottom of my heart, I love Pearl River Junior College, is what I went to. So.
Our second inductee tonight is Mr. Fred Henley of Picayune. He came to Pearl River after serving in World War II in the United States Marine Corps on the aircraft carrier Intrepid. Following his military service, he came to Pearl River, where he was the starting right halfback on the football team from 1946 to 1948, and he received the Athlete of the Year award. Mr. Henley's life can be described as having a passion for education. He graduated from Pearl River in 1948. Mr. Henley earned the bachelor degree in physical education from the University of Southern Mississippi in 1950, and he returned to Pearl River for 2 years as an assistant coach for Coach Dobie Holden. He later earned the master's degree in educational administration from the University of Southern Mississippi and entered into postgraduate studies at Mississippi College. His long career in education, including time as athletic director and head football, baseball, and basketball coach at Forest County Agricultural High School from 1952 to 1963, and also included serving as the principal. Mr. Henley then had the opportunity to move back to his hometown of Picayune to work as a teacher and head football coach at Picayune Memorial High School. He also served the Picayune School District as a junior high school principal, high school assistant superintendent, and school district superintendent. In 1986, Mr. Henley retired from the Picayune School District and worked as the Director of Education Resources at Stennis Space Center until 1991. Mr. Henley has been honored with many accolades, including DeSoto Conference Coach of the Year in 1956, 1958, and 1962, Pearl River Community College Alumnus of the Year in 1975, naming of the Fred E. Henley Field at Forest County Agricultural High School, and induction into the PRCC Sports Hall of Fame in 2008. He has been active in many professional and civic organizations, including the U.S. Selective Service Board, the Boy Scouts of America Council, and the Pearl River County Development Association. He has served as the president of the Pearl River Alumni Association. Also, he has received the President's Cup Award by the Rotary Club. Last year, Mr. Henley was recognized by the First Baptist Church of Picayune for having taught the same men's Sunday school class for 50 years. Mr. Henley and his wife Velma have 3 children and 4 grandchildren and reside in Picayune. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Fred Henley.
I'm Madden Stocksell. I'm here with Mr. Fred Henley, being inducted into the PRCC Lifetime Achievement Hall of Fame. Welcome, Mr. Henley.
Thank you.
Can you share with me a little about your time as a student at Pearl River Community College, why you chose to come here for your education, and what influence did it have on helping establish your career path?
I had gotten home in December of 1945 from World War II. I was not sure what I was going to do. And my parents suggested to me that I go to school. So, make a long story short, a friend of mine and I were headed to Mississippi Southern. We were going to register. We got to Poplarville and he suggested we stop at Pearl River Junior College. I said to myself, why do we want to stop there? I had never been on the campus before. We got here, and lo and behold, some of the people that I had graduated from high school with were here, got to talking, and next thing I knew I was registered for school here at PRC. for which I'm very grateful. It was 2 wonderful years. I can't tell you how wonderful it was that finally, at long last, when I graduated from school, I remembered those 2 years that set me on a 40-year career in education.
Would you like to share with me how you determined your career path and where it all took you through the years?
I had thought about what I wanted to do for some time. The Coach Dobie Holden coached me in high school, and I had thought about being a coach. And that's when I got here, that's what I suggested that I register for. And that's what we did. I have long since enjoyed every minute that I had coaching. But it was just a thought to my mind as to what I would do. I was a football player here and enjoyed that very much. Following that, I went to Southern and graduated and started my career in coaching here on the junior college campus. Dobie Holden at that time had become head coach, and he asked me to work with him a couple of years, and I learned more about football than I ever thought I'd learn from him.
What do you feel are the things that are important in achieving success in your career?
I emphasize coaching because that was my first thought. I had to come to some conclusions about teaching students. First started off and I was a little bit hesitant, but I took my coaching experience and my coaching thoughts that really I had gotten from Coach Holden and applied those to my teaching, and it was very, very successful. I had a very successful time in teaching with that. A lot of the students that I taught still today, many of them who became teachers tell me they use some of the words and phrases that I used while I was teaching. But I was interested in their life. I was as much so as I was of football players, and I think that was a vital part. Sometimes we forget that youngsters come from different families and different places and have different thoughts and ideas, and it takes some encouragement, some support that we give them to lead them in the direction that they need to go.
What are your thoughts about the 2-year community college system and the role that schools such as Pearl River can play in setting your career path?
I can't say enough about the 2-year college career in Mississippi. I think it's a wonderful thing. And I hope that it never changes, because it gives youngsters like me, who were only a teenager really when I started. I doubt seriously that I would have gone to college had it not really been for Pearl River Junior College, because it gives us an opportunity to give to youngsters who are in need of education a place to go. Some can't afford otherwise. Some have trouble going from a high school to a major college campus and being successful. The junior colleges are extremely important, and I hope that it always continues.
Well, thank you again for your time, and we want to congratulate you again on this special recognition.
Thank you. It's good to see all of you here. A good many of you I know, have come to know over the years. And I want to thank Dr. Lewis and Ernie Lovell for allowing me to become a part of such a distinguished group of Pearl River College graduates. This has been an honor that just floored me completely. I can't say enough about Pearl River Junior College, although it was an accident that I enrolled there. My friend and I were on a trip. I got home from service in 1945. In February of 1946, we were on our way to Hattiesburg, Mississippi Southern, and my friend, as we passed through Poplarville, said, let's stop off at the junior college. I'd lived, born and raised in Picayune, but I'd never been on a campus. So I said to myself, why in the world do you want to go to Pearl River Junior College? But it was amazing. When I got there, I understood. Before I left, I was registered for school. And I spent 2 of the greatest years that I know of in college right there. And I am grateful for it because it launched me on a 40-year career in education. And as the prior speaker was talking about, I enjoyed that. I had a lot of friends. I met a lot of people that I still have contacts with. And that just meant a great deal to me. That was the first thing that I remembered and appreciated about the junior college. The second thing is the lady sitting right over here. I met her on the campus, and I was looking out my dormitory window, and I asked a friend, who is that out there on the campus? And he told me, and lo and behold, we've been together ever since, 68 years. We've got 3 wonderful children, 4 wonderful grandchildren. And all of us, except one of the grandchildren, are graduates of Pearl River College. And every one of us, from time to time, are grateful or thankful for the experience that we had there on the campus. I will always remember it. I'll never forget it. And that one grandson that I'm saying that has not come yet, he will be a senior next year in high school and graduating, and we expect him to graduate from Pearl River College. And I think that's a given. Again, let me thank Dr. Lewis and Ernie for allowing me to be here. And I thank all of you for your support to Pearl River Junior College. As I've said before, I will always give that college a good favor for any reason whatsoever. It gives youngsters an opportunity to go to school that maybe didn't have an opportunity to go elsewhere. It gives some maybe who have trouble adjusting to a large university campus. But it is a wonderful, wonderful educational start for anybody, and I recommend it highly. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate you very much.
Due to recent medical issues, Mr. Sonny Stuart is not here with us tonight, and we do want to honor and recognize him for being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Mr. Stuart came to Pearl River after graduating from Poplarville High School in 1963. He sang in the college choir as a freshman and served as president of Entre Nous, the French club, as a sophomore. After graduating from Pearl River in 1965, Stuart received the Bachelor's of Business Administration degree from Baylor University, where he was a member of Alpha Kappa Psi business fraternity. He served 3 years in the United States Marine Corps and was named platoon honorman in the Officer Candidate School. Mr. Stuart graduated from the University of Mississippi School of Law, where he received and served on the Moot Court Board, was Vice Dean of Delta Theta Phi Legal Fraternity, and as a class president. He practiced law for 25 years and was a partner in the Smith, Tate, and Stewart law firm before forming his own firm. A member of the Mississippi State Bar, he was elected to the Board of Governors of the Mississippi Trial Lawyers of Association. Mr. Stuart has been involved in real estate development for 37 years as president of Stuart Company, as well as a member of O'Neill Stewart Investments, LLC, and Gulf Coast Wetlands Mitigation Answers, LLC. He has developed many subdivisions in Pearl River, Hancock, and Harrison counties. He was active in civic, school, and church organizations in both Poplarville and Picayune before he moved to Jacksonville, Florida. Mr. Stuart and his wife Deborah have 2 daughters and 3 grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Mr. Sonny Stuart. Our next inductee tonight is Mr. Michael Waits. Mr. Waits came from Hattiesburg to Pearl River to play center on Coach Dobie Holden's football team. He played for 2 years and was named to the All-State team as a sophomore. He credits the drive instilled by Holden with his success since graduating from Pearl River in 1965. Waits received a degree in civil engineering from Mississippi State University. He worked as an engineer with the Mississippi State Highway Department in Ocean Springs, where he was involved in reconstruction of the Ocean Springs-Biloxi Bridge following Hurricane Camille. He served as assistant district maintenance engineer for 4 years in the Hattiesburg office. Following his positions as the city engineer for Hattiesburg and chief engineer for the Pat Harrison Waterway District, Mr. Waits entered the private engineering business as an engineer with Shows and Dearman Incorporated and became a partner in 1995. He became a majority owner of Shows, Dearman, and Waits Incorporated. Eventually, Mr. Waits sold the majority ownership in 2007, but continued as an employee with the firm until retiring in 2016, and then worked as an advisor. As a member of the Pearl River Alumni Association, Mr. Waits was inducted into the PRCC Sports Hall of Fame in 2001. He is a member of numerous professional and civic organizations, including Board of Directors of Pine Belt Waste Authority and Board of Directors of the American Council of Engineering Companies. Mr. Waits and his wife, Pamela, are the parents of 2 children and have 2 grandchildren and reside in Hattiesburg. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Waits.
Hi, I'm Clay Garrett, and I'm here with Mr. Mike Waits on being inducted into the 2016 Lifetime Hall of Fame. How you doing, Mr. Mike?
Fine.
I just have a couple of questions for you today, if that's all right with you.
Good.
All right. First, just share a little bit about your time as a student here, and why did you come here for your education, and how did it influence you in your career?
Well, I came here to play football for Dobie Holden, and I spent most of my time doing that. You know, we were either in fall semester and playing, or we were in spring and we were either looking at film or out for spring training or lifting weights. So that's most of the time I spent around here.
All right, and so that's the main reason why you came here for your education?
Yeah, I didn't know a lot about Pearl River, but I had played football in Hattiesburg, and Dobie came up there one day and asked me if I wanted to come down, and I said I would.
He offered you a scholarship?
He did.
All right, that's awesome.
Gave me a full ride.
That's nice. Just share with me a little bit on how you determined your career path and where it took you throughout, the years.
Clay, I was a pretty undisciplined student, and I was an undisciplined football player too, but that served me well. But I was an undisciplined student, and that didn't serve me so well in school, So I was hitting along like math, and I had a brother that was a civil engineer, and he was about 7 years older than me, and I had looked up to him, a lot of respect for him, what he did, and I think that's just said I want to be an engineer.
All right, that's how you chose your whole
Just
career.
the way I chose it, and then once I got involved in it, I liked math, and there's a lot of math in
Yep.
engineering, and
All the calculus and
yeah. And after I kicked around a little bit down here, and then I was up to the University of Maryland for a little bit. I got back down here, came back down here to PRC, and I had a lot of help with Dr. White and Dr. Garvin Johnson. That's a pretty good story, but they let me back in school down here after I'd had some problems up at Maryland. And I was very fortunate to get back in, had some great teachers down here. Dr. John White,
Yes, sir.
his dad taught me physics, and calculus was taught to us by Ms. Lulu Webb, who was one of the best teachers I ever had. And she helped us get that good background. And so I was able to get into Mississippi State with some loans and grants. And these folks down here helped me again do that. So I owe this place a lot.
Okay. What kind of things do you feel are important in achieving success in your career as an engineer?
Well, you got to have a good engineering background to begin with. I
Yeah.
mean, you got to get through the classwork, and then once you get through the classwork, it's a new learning process. And I started out working for state agencies, and I was city engineer, Hattiesburg, just stuff that was, I didn't have a lot of, I had responsibility, but when you get in private practice, there's a different side of responsibility.
Yes, sir.
So I did that about 15 years, and then I decided I want to go in private practice. And once I got into private practice, it took a lot of different things. Other than being to own the business, it took a lot of different things. It took, you had to persevere, and you had to be an extrovert. Sometimes my wife tell you I can be too much one, but,
Yes, sir.
but it served me well. And I used to tell these young engineers I would hire, there's 4 things you have to do in this business. You have to find it, get it, do it, get paid for it. If you miss any one of those 4, you're in trouble. Find it. It takes a person to go out, and you got to come ask somebody for a job. And to get it, you got to push it long enough till they finally say you got it, and then you got to be able to put it out. You got to do it. If you miss that, and then you got to get paid. If you miss that, you're all in trouble.
So you'd say being an engineer is a lot harder than going to class and doing all the classwork required for being one.
Well, it is if you're in private practice. Now, if you go to work for a agency of some type, they put you in one little spot and you do some kind of engineering.
Right. What are your thoughts about the 2-year community college, PRCC? It'll have you for 2 years, and then they'll send you to university.
There's no question in my mind that a person that wants to get a science-type degree, and it may be in other stuff, I'm going to speak to science, but no question in my mind that you're way better off getting that individual attention you can get at a junior college. It's like they love you, really. That's the way they treated me.
You're not missing out on anything by going to a university.
No.
I agree. All right, well, that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you again, and congratulations on being inducted into the 2016 Lifetime Hall of Fame.
Well, that's an honor, but before I say what I kind of had on my mind, I want to introduce my wife of 47 good years, my son-in-law, Ben Norvell, my daughter, Robin Norvell, and my favorite granddaughter, Ava Norvell, Ava Lane Norvell. And then my first cousin over here, who he and I both are really brothers, Donnie Waits, and his wife, Joan, and I appreciate them being here to support me. I also want to say that 2 of my better clients, one being the Forest County Board of Supervisors, Berkey Ross and his wife are here, and the city of Hattiesburg, Mayor Johnny Dupree and his wife, Janice, and I appreciate it. I came down to Pearl River to play football for the renowned Dobie Holden, and he introduced me to a lot of stuff while I was playing for him, a lot of things I still remember. But in 1963, the young man ahead of me who was a sophomore broke his leg and in the second ball game, and I played from then on, so I got to play as a freshman. And that year we won 9, we lost none, and tied 1, and we were the state champions. And Richard Dossett was on that team, and Sidney Malone was on that team, and both of those were sophomores and really contributed to us winning the thing. But you know, my love for PRC goes a lot deeper than that, than playing that football, even though that's all I knew then. I was an undisciplined football player, which served me pretty well, but I was an undisciplined student, and it didn't serve me well. But I wanted to be an engineer like my big brother, and so, you know, I took all the courses you're supposed to take, and I was very fortunate to be at a junior college because I had teachers that took me under their wing, and they, you know, they for some reason they wanted to help me. I always tried, but I wasn't the smartest guy around, you know, but I never would quit. And I had teachers. The first teacher I ever had down here in history, it was the first year I ever taught, and his name was Walter Lowe, and he's Dr. Lowe now, I think, isn't he? Dr. Lewis, and he retired from Pearl River because they stayed. I had, any of you know Mr. White, became President White? I had him in trigonometry and algebra, courses I had to be good at to be an engineer, and Mr. White just made sure I learned it. And I had to have physics, hard course. And the gentleman that taught the thing was Mr. Grant. And his son, Dr. John Grant, and I were in class together there, but if you wanted a challenge, you took physics under Mr. Grant. He made you get it. And then I had my favorite teacher that probably is the reason I could succeed at Mississippi State, was a lady named Ms. Lulu Webb. I hear some of you may have had her, but she taught me both classes of calculus that I had to have in engineering. She taught it through pre-engineering, and in the second course in calculus, I was really struggling. And she said, there was 4 of us in the class. John Grant was one of them, and there was 2 other fellows. I don't remember who they were. And she said, if you'll stay after class with me every day, when you get through your classes and I'm through, I'll help you. And that lady did that for like 6 weeks. You know, she didn't have to do that. She could have said, son, you're in college, go on. That's what they told you at Mississippi State. You know, you go on and learn it or we're going to flunk you. But Ms. Webb, she made us put every equal sign in a perfect column all the way down a paper when you was doing a calculus problem. They might be a page long, but when you got to Mississippi State, that problem might be 7 or 8 pages long, and it really helped you to keep all your math neat. So, but then the story goes even further than that, why PRC wanted to help me. And when I graduated from Mississippi State, they said I kicked around a bunch of state jobs, and then in 1985, I said I want to get in private business. I had a great friend that owned a private engineering business, and I went in business with him, but I'd lost my train of thought. When I went into business, the first call I had for my first client in 1985, I guess it was from Mr. White, and he gave me a little old engineering project. And then, well, I don't know, 7, 8 years later, he retired, and Ted Alexander, Dr. Ted, come in, and for whatever reason, he said, you do all my engineering. And so my firm and I did all the engineering for him until 2000, I think it was, wasn't it, Dr. Lewis? Ted retired and Dr. Lewis took over, and Dr. Lewis, he didn't miss a step. We stayed right in there and did the engineering for him. And in 2007, when I retired, Shay McNeese took over he's a graduate of PRC, and he took over with Dr. Lewis. And so You know, I've literally been connected to the school where they were helping me. I was very little helping them. I had a business that was my business, but I mean, they were just helping me. And I guess maybe 50 years. So I've been very fortunate by the fact that Dobie Holden said, son, you can play football for me. And so that's what I did. So I appreciate this award, and I appreciate all my friends coming out, and I love Pearl River.
Due to recent medical issues, Mr. Bill Watts, our final inductee in the 2016 Lifetime Achievement Hall of Fame, is not here with us tonight. We do want to honor and recognize him for being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Mr. Watts came to Pearl River from Bay St. Louis on a football scholarship and was a member of the 1962 National Championship team. He has very fond memories of Coach Dobie Holden and of playing in the positions of center and linebacker. At Pearl River, he excelled academically, scoring only A's, receiving the Mathematics Achievement Award as a freshman, and was elected vice president of his sophomore class. Another football scholarship took him to Tulane University, but an injury cut his playing days short. Fortunately, an academic scholarship allowed him to continue his studies at Tulane University, where he graduated first in the engineering department and was honored with the Outstanding Chemistry Student Award. He was inducted into the engineering fraternity Tau Beta Pi and into the Leadership Honorary Society Omicron Delta Kappa. Mr. Watts worked in the petroleum industry during the summers and continued at Tulane University for another 3 years to earn his PhD in chemical engineering. His career has been devoted to reservoir simulation and developing more accurate and faster computational methods for the computer programs used to forecast oil recovery under various operating conditions. Mr. Watts has worked for Mobile Research and Development, Scientific Software Corporation, and Exxon Production Research Company. For the last 19 years, he has been an independent consultant for Exxon and Landmark Graphics Corporation. Mr. Watts remains active in the Tri-Sports Association in Houston, Texas, where he and his wife, Betty, live. They have 2 children and 5 grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Mr. Bill Watts.